Karina, and I'm from Nota team, and I interview people who faced with skin cancer from all over the world. And I think your story can be helpful to someone. And first of all, I
Thank
want
you.
to tell you that you are very beautiful. When I was preparing to this interview, I saw your Instagram and felt your warm energy.
Oh, thank you. You're absolutely gorgeous yourself. I'm just a regular girl, just a regular girl.
Super, super. You have a good mission. You are cancer speaker. And when did you face with skin cancer? Could you tell your story?
Sure. Your this cancer life, the skin cancer life actually as a whole, it can be so scary. And I think for me, I didn't understand what it was because I didn't think it was a disease that, Black people of color would ever
Yeah.
be diagnosed with. I just thought that it was a white people disease. So in 2015, I was
Mm,
diagnosed with stage 3 malignant melanoma. And I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what a skin cancer diagnosis would be for me. I didn't know what kind of treatments were available. I didn't know if it was something that I would be able to survive. So when when I got that diagnosis, my whole world almost just like stood still, you know?
mm,
It stood still because I had to go back within myself and really first try to understand what was cancer first, and then what was skin cancer, and then
mm,
understanding what was melanoma, you know?
mm, mm.
Yeah, so it was a really terrible time, obviously, for anyone. And at the time I was still 24. I'm 32 now. And I've made it all this time. And the thing about my journey, just to be able to explain it to you, is that the signs and the symptoms that I had started a long time ago. They started when I was 5, 6 years old, you know.
Oh,
I yeah, that's so strange. You know how I know now, but I didn't know before. How
yeah.
sometimes you can find that somebody has like a brown or black line in their nails,
Mm,
And
mm,
now it's like,
mm,
oh, there could be, like a sign, you need to be aware of something like that. I didn't know. I didn't know. And it was something that I asked my uncle when I was younger. And I said to him, I saw it on him. And I said,
mm,
why do you have that brown line? And I also showed him that I also have it. And I was trying
mm,
to understand why did we have this line, and then
mm.
ended up checking my cousins and checking my mom and trying to see who else had this. Because he just told me that it was a family thing, that that's how you're a part of the family. But he didn't know. He didn't know what he was really telling me. So I started having just really bad, severe sunburns,
Mm.
ones where your skin is like bubbling and
Oh,
boiling.
really?
Yeah, and it was just terrible. It was painful as a child to go through that and not understand what that was.
Mm,
And I used to suffer from, like severe nosebleeds as well, because I was always playing in the sun. And, you know, you want to play in the sun when you're a child. You want to have fun.
really?
You want
Yeah.
to be active. So, how do you tell a child not to go play? And that's what my mother had to deal with. She had to try and almost police me. Because she was trying to protect me at the same time. And I didn't understand. Nobody understood why I was having such skin reactions, why I
Mm,
was having these nosebleeds, why I was having all these signs and symptoms. So it just became a really difficult thing to navigate. And then I started swimming and playing, a lot of sports in school. And, in school, they made it compulsory that if you were a swimmer, you had to wear sunscreen.
Mm.
So now I was forced to wear sunscreen now. I was just like, what is this thing? What? And because you know what most people just hate about sunscreen is just that that layer, that
Yeah.
white coverage. And sometimes
Mm.
on people of color, like it looks purple. You look purple, Karina.
Yeah.
And you don't want to look purple, so people generally don't want to use sunscreen because of that. And now I was forced to wear this thing. I did not like it. I did not like it at all, because then I looked even more different to my friends, because my black friends weren't really swimming. My white friends were all swimming and they were fine. And now after we swim, here I am looking white and you know. But I had to wear it, because I guess at that point we understood, and even from the compulsoriness at school, that was laid upon us, is that this is how you're going to protect, your child's skin. And so we were open to wearing it, but not every day.
Yes.
Yeah, not every day, not every day. So then we just, my skin then just started changing, and then I developed my first mole on my left hand. I'm not sure, like if you're close by, you can see it. It's just over here, but you can't really see it now. So I developed my first mole at the age of 7, and it was nasty. It was so ugly, Karina. It was gray. Oh, it was bad, bad, bad. But it was perfect, It was round, it was asymmetrically perfect, It wasn't something that kept changing and evolving. It just set to like the size of the back of a pencil eraser. And it stayed that size. It stayed that size, and that was it, But we did something very wrong. Something very, very wrong. My mom took a thread
Oh,
and
really?
she tied it around it, so that it could fall off. And it did fall off. It did. Yeah. And it fell off at school because, the kids were teasing me about this thing, and it fell off, and I put it in my pocket, and I went home and I showed my mom. I said, it came out. Yes, yes, yes. It came back.
Oh.
It came back, and we repeated the thing, and it didn't come back. And then, we didn't have to deal with it anymore. So we thought that we were fine. We thought that we just, keep moving and that was now probably a 20-year journey till I developed my next, my next mole. So in between that time, I kept playing sports. I kept being exposed to excessive sun exposure, and still getting the sunburn, still having difficulties with my skin. But it wasn't until maybe when I was around 23 maybe, when I developed now the black mole, you know.
Oh.
Yeah. And this mole now didn't look like the other one. It was black. It was disgusting. It looked like a mushroom was coming out, Yeah, it really didn't look good. And, I didn't take too much concern about it. And, one day I hit myself against the coffee table, and it just cut right open, like halfway through. And you could see inside this thing. Karina, I tell you, it was it was so bad. It was so bad. But even that incident didn't say to me, go to the doctor. I was just like, oh no, put a bandage, I'll be fine. It was painful. It was so painful. But it took another maybe 2 years before I went to the hospital. Took another 2 years. And at the time I was seeing my neurologist, and, I told her, have a look at this. And she said, no, let's get you to dermatology. Dermatology did a biopsy, and then it came back that I had stage 3 malignant melanoma, and everything changed.
How do you feel now?
You see me laughing. You know why? You know why I laugh as much as I do, Karina, is because from the time that they diagnosed me, right, to the time I had my treatment and my surgery, it took 6 months.
Mm,
And in those 6 months, I was depressed, I was
mm,
crying, I was thinking I was going to die. I wasn't happy,
mm,
you know? Why would you be happy if you've been told that you have the deadliest form of skin cancer? Why would you be happy if you are facing your own mortality at the age of 24? Why would you be happy if you can't follow your dreams because you're scared that you're going to die? So now I've been clear for over 7 years, and I have to laugh. I have to be happy. I have to celebrate every single day because there was a time when today didn't seem real.
mm.
Today never felt like it would ever come. So I'm here, so I laugh with.
Is there any social advertising, for example, maybe billboards um, in your city about that you need to protect yourself from some? Yeah.
Yeah, we do have campaigns.
Oh,
Campaigns normally are in May. I think just globally we do melanoma and skin cancer
yes,
awareness month,
yes.
but also because our summer is between, December and February. So
Mm,
between December and Jan, we do a Sun Smart campaign, and I get involved in those campaigns as well. I get to use my voice to educate people, especially people of color, because people of color still believe that because of the melanin in our skin that we are immune, that we are protected from a diagnosis such as skin cancer. So I have the opportunity to use my voice, to use my story, and say to people, hey, skin cancer is real. Skin cancer, does not discriminate. Skin cancer needs to be detected early as well, because when you find yourself with a late diagnosis, and especially a late diagnosis with melanoma, it becomes very dangerous for somebody.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
There is a myth around the world that people with the fair skin at risk in cancer, but it's a myth.
It's a myth. 100% right. It's a myth. But I'm still fair, I still qualify. I'm not too dark.
Do you have any protection strategy when you going out?
I'm
You
gonna
have
tell you a secret. Serious.
secret.
Sometimes I'm so bad, I don't use my sunscreen.
Um,
So bad. But
but you wear long sleeve
yes,
clothes. Yeah?
yes. So I wear my hats always. So it's either I'm wearing a bucket hat or I wear a wide brimmed hat. And obviously sunscreen is so important as a part of, the barrier. I call it like the skin barrier, and then there's the clothing barrier. So there's two barriers, that I use that I can have control of. And then there's the barriers of when you're outside, you're in the shade. If you're outside, I try to stay away from, like windows. If I'm at like a restaurant or something, I sit away from the window so that I don't have that glaring light coming in from the windows. So for me, it's making sure that my sunscreen is on, my clothing is on. And like you said, I wear my sleeves. I love them. Oh,
Oh.
I love them so much because they've saved me. They've made my favorite thing. One of my favorite things to do is to drive, and they've made driving much better for me because I'd always be burned. I used to wear my jacket backwards like this just to protect my hands. So I'm happy now that I have more clothing and more items to use to protect my skin. So my secret is make sure
Huh?
you're protected. Always protect.
Oh, you're so funny. Yes. What advice can you give people who will watch our interview? How can protect yourself?
When it comes to skincare and sun protective actions, remember this: protection, protection, protection. always protect your skin by wearing sunscreen of an SPF 30 plus, especially if you're going outdoors, and protect your skin by wearing UPF clothing. And also remember to always protect your skin by seeking shade now, which means when you're outdoors, protect yourself from the elements and also being exposed to direct sunlight that would be coming from windows. The thing about our skin is that it is both beautiful and fragile, so we need to make sure that we love it gently and protect it always.